Welcome back. Checks on the bureaucracy. All right, so you have a whole mess of checks here. The president, you have 5 checks the president can do on the bureaucracy. You have, 7 Congress can do, a couple from the judiciary. I'll point out the judiciary ones right now because I don't think I'm going to talk about those too much more in the rest of the this video. The judicial branch's checks, they're the most simple. They can declare stuff unconstitutional. So I would go with that first check there. To have that one in mind to be able to write about. They can rule on the constitutionality of rules and regulations made by bureaucratic agencies. And then we're going to talk about some of the more important ones from Congress and the president. We're going to focus on, I would say, 2 for the president probably, and we're going to look at a few of the ones with Congress as well. But notice that Congress really has some significant ones, right? They can approve or abolish agencies and programs, authorize the money, appropriate that money. They can pass legislation altering the activities. They can perform congressional oversight. They nominate, write new laws. Congress has the most significant ones, most likely. And then the first 2 for the president are pretty big too, so let's get into it. All right, so we're going to focus on congressional oversight. That's going to be one of the most significant checks on the bureaucracy. So what we notice here is that Congress has the power to investigate these agencies and these departments. They want to make sure that the agencies and departments are doing what Congress told them to do. Because remember, the idea here is that Congress passes laws, but then they leave the implementation to the bureaucratic agencies and departments. So Congress often writes very broad bills, and then they let the agencies fill in the gaps and make the specific rules. Remember, they give them discretion. So we're thinking about from previous videos, Congress gives administrative discretion to the agencies and departments to make administrative law, and those are rules that have the power of law. So Congress is very concerned that the agencies are doing their job properly and are doing what Congress wanted them to do. So part of their oversight is that the heads of these agencies and departments must testify in front of congressional standing committees. So this is part of that oversight. They have to come and report to the standing committees. Usually it's a couple times a year, and they can be called if there's some kind of emergency or some kind of reason for it. But the idea is that they come and that standing committee is going to ask them, hey, what are you doing with the money that we've given you? How is it being spent? What is improving about the outcome? Because remember, we set a goal. Our goal was X, Y, and Z. Is it being accomplished? Are you using the money efficiently? Now, what happens next is, depending on how that hearing goes and how the oversight investigations in general go, because it's not just hearings, they do investigate them as well. Remember that Congress has the power of the purse. So they have budget power. They can appropriate money. They can authorize money. They determine the budget of the agency, in other words. So if they are pleased with the agency and the work that they're doing, they may increase that agency or department's budget or their responsibilities. So they might say, hey, you know what, we also want to put you in charge of this, this, and this because of how good of a job that this agency or department is doing. On the other hand, if they're displeased, they might reduce their budget, take away responsibilities, or they even have the extreme ability to abolish the agency altogether. That's something to keep in mind because it would be easy to think, oh, they're part of the executive branch, so the president creates them and gets rid of them, but that's not true. Agencies and departments are established by Congress, and they're established by them, but they can also be abolished by them. So Congress has significant powers over the bureaucracy. They can also pass new legislation, so they can be like, hey, we wrote this law and it allowed you to do this, but we don't like the way you've used your discretion, so we're going to write a new law that clarifies, no, we didn't mean that, we mean this. So we're going to limit bureaucratic discretion because you weren't using it properly. So that's another power that Congress has and can take over the bureaucracy. So what about the president? Well, he can appoint and remove agency heads, and he can issue executive orders. Those are the 2 that we really want to focus on. So that appoint and remove, often it's really nominate, not so much appoint, because it's appointing but with Senate approval, Senate confirmation. But he definitely can remove them. So once heads of these agencies have their jobs, they do serve at the pleasure of the president, which means that he can fire them for whatever he wants. He doesn't even need a reason. He can fire them. and he also is how they get their job. So these are political appointees at the top of these departments. And he can issue executive orders telling them what they can or can't do. So the president is able to influence the bureaucracy quite a bit. All right, remember, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that like button if this helped you understand congressional oversight a little bit more. This has been a La Money production.